That was one of the craziest NFL games I've ever seen. I was ready to go to bed at 29-0 Vikings in the fourth quarter. Instead, Big Ben put together a brilliant and sensational comeback for the ages that just fell short. Look at this. Harrison Smith smacked Pat Freiermuth and the ball jarred loose. That was going to be a touchdown. Oh, wow. Instead, it's a loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Steelers are cooked. They will not make the playoffs as we predicted. And look, there's no reason to believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and there hasn't been a reason to believe in them, as we've told you all year. Give Ben Roethlisberger seriously credit for the comeback. I thought he should have retired at halftime. Why not? He was getting rocked, which is what made the fourth quarter so magical and so special. That was vintage. Throwback, first ballot Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger. No player on the field wanted it more than Big Ben. Just sensational stuff. But don't get it twisted. It's also a blip. The end of the game should not overshadow the beginning. Pittsburgh was pathetic. No effort, no guts, no execution. The offensive line in the beginning of the game was absolutely terrible. Ben Roethlisberger first half couldn't function. This is what happens when you bring Ben Roethlisberger at his age back. And I said they should have gotten rid of him after last season. This is what happens when you don't fix the offensive line. When you draft a running back and a tight end with your first two picks inexplicably in the draft. Run defense was downright deplorable. That Vikings line isn't that good. And Dalvin Cook took advantage of those huge holes and carved them up. It was embarrassing for Pittsburgh. As Mike Tomlin said, they look like the JV. And then there's Chase Claypool. His act makes me sick. And his teammates and coaches have to be absolutely livid as well. And you saw them post-game, they are. Look at this. Every second matters down the stretch. He gets the first down, and he celebrates? Wow. How selfish and clueless can you be? But this is a consistent pattern of behavior. More interested in TikTok than the game clock. More interested in practice music than practicing. He got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty in the first quarter. Unsportsmanlike penalty in the first quarter, and Tomlin rightly benched him, and then does that? Wow, I'm being serious when I say this. I'd sit him for the next game. Seriously. Something's got to change. Glue him to the bench. I appreciate Roethlisberger for the comeback. That was awesome. But don't let it overshadow the overall truth. Pittsburgh is cooked and a total mess. Vikings fans can never have nice things. The Vikings are a mess because their team cannot be trusted. Every single game is an adventure. Kirk Cousins had 2 interceptions laid to put Pittsburgh in that position to have that aforementioned comeback for the ages. And this is why you can say Kirk Cousins having a great year and the Vikings must move on from him. And it all makes sense. Cousins failed again in a pressure cooker, failed again in primetime. I mean, even earlier in the game. I mean, it was wild. He was missing Justin Jefferson, other receivers, the tight end when they were wide open. And you heard the soundbite from Mike Zimmer. I mean, he can't stay on as the head coach. You heard what he said? He's thinking he's the coach. Here we go again. It's all about the psyche between the ears. Everything was going right for Minnesota until it wasn't. Everyone was sharing a brain with the coach. Here we go again. I mean, think about it. Shades of Cincy and Detroit and Dallas and Baltimore. And the sad thing is, we know that Minnesota can play with or beat anyone. They lost to the Cardinals on a missed kick at the end. They beat the Packers, but the losing culture starts at the top with Zimmer. Is this an easy schedule? Is this a tough schedule? Hell if I know. I feel terrible for the Minnesota Vikings fans. They should be celebrating today, a dominant win. Instead, it's a sobering reminder they can't win big with Zimmer and Cousins. On the heels of Sean McDermott's wild post-game commentary on Monday night, not giving Bill Belichick credit, I was waiting for an adult to enter the chat. Enter the face of the Bills franchise, Josh Allen. That's the soundbite I was looking for. Josh Allen is going to lead the Buffalo Bills to an upset special win in Tampa over the Buccaneers on CBS on Sunday. Buffalo is currently the 7th seed in the AFC. Look, this season is going to be defined solely by making the Super Bowl, or at least bare bones minimum, real Super Bowl push. Tampa's D is banged up, at the back end and really poor when it comes to the pass defense. These numbers on the screen don't lie at all. I think Allen throws for 3, 4, 5 touchdowns. I think he'd run on Tampa. I think he spreads the ball around brilliantly, and he needs to, because he's not just playing the Buccaneers defense, he's playing Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, look at this, flat out owns Buffalo. Bills need to show some pride, use their gobs of talents. The season's on the brink, but I want to stress this, it doesn't have to be over. I still think Josh Allen is a star. I still think the Bills are loaded. I know it's a daunting task, but hey, Buffalo put itself in this position with inexplicable losses earlier in the season. Think big, think positive. You already won in Kansas City. Now, go beat the champs. It's going to happen. It needs to happen. Baker Mayfield says everything is still in front of him and the Browns. So love or loathe, Baker and the Browns are going to make a playoff run. Loathe. Nope, not happening. And I love this team preseason. And I love their offensive line and the running back duo and Myles Garrett and Kevin Stefanski. I just loathe their ability to make a run because of this guy, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield has been dreadful this year. And honestly, I don't think he's coming back. Because the Browns, and I thought this offseason, they would win the division, they'd make a Super Bowl run. The Browns have been a bitter disappointment, and you're going to have to hit a minimum of 10 to make the playoffs in the AFC. I mean, this schedule, relatively speaking, is very difficult. I think Baker Mayfield is going to hold the Cleveland Browns back from making the postseason. The Browns are facing the Baltimore Ravens. Should be a spicy game on CBS this weekend, and Lamar Jackson has struggled mightily as of late. So, love or loathe, Lamar gets back on track against the Browns. I loathe this. I mean, I love Lamar, but Lamar is turning it over left and right, and he's got 16 turnovers on the year. That's the most for any quarterback. And listen, that Cleveland defense is simply put intense. The offensive line for the Baltimore Ravens is not very good. And look at this nugget in yellow. Lamar Jackson, 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. Remember how dreadful he was against Cleveland a few weeks ago on that Sunday night? So I think this is going to be tough sledding here for Lamar Jackson against Cleveland's defense once again. A rivalry renewed on Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers faces the Bears once again. Love or loathe, Rodgers continues to own the Bears on Sunday. Well, obviously, you've got to love this. I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers. His world, we're just living in it, especially when he plays the Chicago Bears. And Rodgers doesn't regret screaming to the fans, I own you, I still own you, and you see that gleam in his eye. Rodgers knows the Green Bay Packers have a great opportunity to get the 1 seed. Rodgers playing on Sunday night, a window of exclusivity. He has a golden opportunity, as always, to put up huge numbers against the Bears and be in position to be the leader in the clubhouse for NFL MVP. So this is going to be another tasty performance for Aaron Rodgers going up against the rival Chicago Bears. The New Orleans Saints get a huge boost for their matchup against the Jets on CBS, with running back Alvin Kamara set to return. Love or loathe, New York slows down Kamara on Sunday. Look, I mean, please. The Jets' defense is flat out deplorable. Kamara practiced fully all week. No longer listed on the injury report. Hasn't played in quite some time. And take a look at these rankings. Remember how they looked last week on defense against the Philadelphia Eagles? This is going to be a laugher for my guy, Alvin Kamara. Welcome back. We're picking everything on a Friday. 1 college football game on the schedule this weekend. Throw out the records. Army-Navy on CBS. Give me the Black Knights to run all over the midshipmen. How about some NFL props? Prime spot for Russell Wilson to go crazy against the Texans. I'll take his over of 240.5 passing yards. Love my guy Matt Ryan to throw for a couple of touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers. We talked about it earlier, but Alvin Kamara, the rush total is said at just 71.5 yards. Hammer the over on that one. I got an NHL pick for you too. Penguins, Capitals. Give me my guy, Alexander Ovechkin and Washington to win. Bag it. Sidney Crosby. Let's keep the picks rolling with my guy, the great Will Brinson. And yeah, all those underdog picks didn't really work out for the great Will Brinson last week. So I've opened up a bit of a lead in the overall standings, but plenty of football left to play. And why did I take the Steelers last night? Even though I've been screaming the Steelers are terrible, I'll never know. All right, let's get to the picks. It's a glorious weekend coming up in the National Football League. And let's start with the gem on CBS. The Kansas City Chiefs, favored by 9.5 points, hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. Will Brinson, take your pick.
So I don't love laying 9.5 points. Yeah, you think I'd learned or I guess maybe I did learn my lesson after taking all those stanky dogs last week and trying to ride the underdogs. I don't love laying the 9.5 with the Chiefs, but Kansas City's starting to get their mojo back. They are playing some great defense as of late. I believe have allowed 56 points on their 5-game winning streak. And the Raiders, who have just been struggling since their bye, are finally really, I think, Adam, feeling the attrition, the issues that come with the attrition when you lose your head coach, you lose your number one wideout for tough circumstances across the board. But it's just been too much for the Raiders. Maybe this is a last gasp chance, but I think the Chiefs keep rolling. Maybe Mahomes finds something in this game and the offense actually puts up a big number.
Well, we're on the exact same page here, to the extent where you see 9.5 and it makes you pause, but it's Kansas City, right? Everything you said about the Raiders, I think that's fair game, and it's certainly applicable for Sunday. Listen, Patrick Mahomes has one incredible game this year. It was against the Raiders on that Sunday night. Over 400 yards passing, 5 touchdowns in that Sunday night game. That was in Vegas. Now he's going to be at home. And listen, that Chiefs defense, legit. They've been the best defense in the NFL since week number 8. I love Derek Carr. I think is a terrible matchup for the Raiders on the road. I like Kansas City last week to win and cover and went down to the wire, but we got that one. So I'm going to stay consistent here and roll with the Kansas City Chiefs. Big-time divisional matchup with the Cowboys traveling to Washington on Sunday. Dallas favored by 4.5 points against the old football team. Will Brinson, take a pick.
You know, you look at Dak Prescott's division numbers and numbers specifically against Washington, and it makes you really want to take Dallas. I think he is he's 7-1 and 7-1 straight up and 6-2 against the spread against Washington, and has just dominated division opponents both straight up and against the spread since he was drafted by the Cowboys. Now, having said that, unfortunately, the Austin Powers referencing cool kid named Mike McCarthy decided to come out and guarantee a win in like a quasi-guarantee fashion, but he said, we expect to win. It's something a head coach doesn't usually say. He even got kind of rebuked by Ron Rivera for saying it, who said he was just shocked to hear it. I think Rivera gets the Washington football team up for this game. This is a huge matchup. If Washington wins, it opens the NFC East back up, and I think they do pull out the victory against the visiting Dallas Cowboys, who will suddenly have a piping hot seat for Mr. McCarthy.
Wow, Will Brinson going to the outright upset special. I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm taking them to win. I'm taking them to cover. I love Dallas all the way around, and I applaud what Mike McCarthy said because, Will, think about 1 week ago where everyone and their mother, including mine, was talking about whether or not the Cowboys' win was good enough against New Orleans. Are they back? Listen, Jerry Jones on the radio in Dallas, 105.3 The Fan, saying the receivers didn't get the job done. What Mike did was let everyone in that locker room know, let the fans know, win. It's all about the win, not about the aesthetics. Let that be debated by people like me and like you. And I love that Dak Prescott was asked about the McCarthy guarantee. He said, bleep yeah, he's fired up about it. I think that CeeDee Lamb has a big game, Dak has a big game. I give Washington credit for what they've done recently. Still don't think they're that good. I'm going to take Dallas Cowboys here to win and cover. How about another great game on CBS on Sunday? The San Francisco 49ers. This game is loaded with playoff implications. Traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Jimmy G and company favored by just 1.5. Will Brinson, take a pick.
I'm going to roll with the road chalk here and take my 49ers to pull out a victory against Cincinnati. Bengals have been coughing up about 30-plus points over their last 6 games. All 6 of those games have gone over, I believe. And the defense has just regressed a ton. Kyle Shanahan should be able to cook up plenty that defense to deal with. I think 49ers step up and find a way to win, and again, a must-win game for their playoff hopes.
I'm going to roll with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think both these teams will eventually make the playoffs, but I think Cincinnati's the better team playing at home. And I think that, and I love Joe Burrow, and I love T. Higgins and Chase and Joe Mixon, and I think they will learn from not starting last week with energy. I just love this Cincinnati defense going up against Jimmy G. They're going to create turnovers. I'm going to take the Bengals to win outright. Let's take a look at the rest of our picks for this upcoming week in the National Football League. Will Brinson rolling with some elite NFL teams. The Jets, the Texans, the Lions. I mean, he's got all the heavyweights here. We do agree on the rebuilding since 1957 Detroit Lions with points. I have the Falcons winning that game outright for the record. We both remember the Titans. We both like the Browns. I got into that earlier. We're both going to roll with the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert taking care of business against the Giants. I told you earlier outright, I've got the Buffalo Bills beating Tampa Bay. We both think that Aaron Rodgers will continue to own the Green Bay Packers. We will disagree on Monday Night Football. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.